Let's get going. We've got a lot of house hunting to do.
I hope we find something. I don't want to commute 3 hours a day like some other teachers.
I'm bringing Olive with us.
Oh, come on, Riley. Do we really need artificial intelligence to help us find a new place?
Hello? If I can get food delivered at 3 a.m. for my crazy cravings, then why can't an app make housing easier? Besides, Olive teaches and learns too. Curtis, I know we're not stacking the loot, but with 2 incomes, part-time coding and full-time teaching, we should be okay, right?
The average price of a 2-bedroom home in San Francisco is $1.3 million. The average rent for a 2-bedroom apartment is $4,500 a month.
Hey, check this out.
San Francisco housing crisis spurs calls for less rules.
Mayor Chen mentioned this to me when she dropped off her son at my class yesterday. San Francisco hasn't built enough housing for years, and now we're paying the price.
San Francisco is the second most densely populated city in the United States.
See? The supply hasn't kept up with the demand.
From 1950 to 2013, San Francisco built 2 new housing units for every new person. And as of 2015, there's 30,000 vacant units in San Francisco.
Whoa, I've never heard these stats before. If there's so much housing and so many vacant units, then why is housing so expensive?
This does seem really complicated, but I'm sure Olive can figure it out.
I have a friend who's a developer. He can help us figure this out. Wow, Sumir, you have developments going up all over the city. But what's with these crazy housing prices?
My smartwatch has some questions for you, too.
How do you set the prices for the condos you're building?
I forecast what people can pay once the building's finally done, 5 years from now.
How do you know what people can pay 5 years from now?
Tech is booming. Starting salaries are over $100,000 a year. A professional couple with those salaries can easily pay for my condos.
Sounds like a condo for the stars. A well-appointed lifestyle just steps away from the bay.
Big companies will buy units for visiting executives. Foreign buyers will park their cash in San Francisco real estate. It's a good investment. Some units are even used for tourist rentals.
Wow. We're competing with all that?
That's the way we sell these new condos. There are lots of ways I can get top dollar for them.
But if there were fewer regulations, wouldn't the price come down?
Yeah, that's just one of my costs.
What about the others?
I also have to pay for land, materials, labor, architects and engineers, fees and financing. Honestly, if any of those costs go down, I just make more profit.
If costs decrease, why not sell or rent the condos for less?
I can't charge less. I have investors and a bank to answer to. My financing is based on an assumed return, with sales and rentals at the higher price, the prices that I forecasted. Plus, you want me to make a profit so I can keep building, right?
I keep hearing that if we build more, prices will come down. But even though you're building so much, we're still not finding a place we can afford.
Well, lowering prices is not in my control. You can't expect me to solve that.
So who's the one calling the shots?
You should talk with my banker, Ernesto.
Our friend Sumir told us he only builds condos for people with pretty healthy bank accounts.
But based on the laws of supply and demand, you'd think that building more units would bring the prices down.
Well, you won't see much building if housing prices go down. You see...
But increasing supply is the simplest solution to high housing costs. So many people are coming here for all the new jobs.
Financing isn't that simple. If rents are going down and a developer comes to me asking for a loan, I'll look at his business plan and tell him, no way. he won't be able to pay me back. I'll have the avocado poke toast on charcoal activated bread and a bowl of bone broth.
Ooh, I'll have a matcha green tea donut with bacon.
Wait. So you don't actually want to increase housing supply to the point where prices would fall?
That's not how the industry works. We have no incentive to invest in declining markets. Remember what happened in 2008 when the housing bubble burst? All the banks stopped lending.
Prices need to drop approximately 40% for Riley and Curtis to be able to afford a place here.
How do you get housing prices to fall 40%?
That sounds like another great recession. But any little dip in prices in San Francisco means we stop lending here and invest in another city where the housing market is strong.
You mean a city that's getting more expensive?
Ooh, our realtor says a new listing just opened up in the Mission. Let's go.
If we can't afford a new place, maybe we can get a flat in an older building.
I didn't know that people are still moving out, but I can show you the place if you don't mind.
What's going on?
Property owners sometimes need to get the tenants to vacate so they can sell the flats.
Is this our best option? Seems like bad timing.
It's perfect timing for you. There are so few places available in the Mission. You're getting in on it before it really hits the market. A new building across the street has just been approved. Those condos are going to drive the prices up for the rest of the street.
That is one of the Mission's first murals.
Cities used to be where products were manufactured, then distributed to destinations near and far. Workers, factories, housing, shops, shipping all came together in a vibrant and messy way. After World War II, new highways and regional transit allowed some families to move to the suburbs. Office towers grew in the 1970s and 80s as the economy became more global. Corporations grew bigger and more profitable. Manufacturing left San Francisco because of new international trade agreements. Redevelopment moved lower-income people out of their neighborhoods, replacing their homes with cultural destinations. In the first dot-com boom of the late 90s, tech startups began locating in industrial buildings. It was a way to get a cheap start in areas ignored by the government. More and more companies located near other tech firms. Some of them make more money than corporations ever have. And now, land values in the city are rising to new heights as inequality grows. This is a story that continues to be written.
The muralist and his family were recently evicted. Nearly all of his murals have been painted over or the buildings torn down.
Rosa, doesn't it feel bad to be a part of this?
All this change, it's bigger than me. I'm doing my best to try and help people like you. So much of what's being built and bought today is empty. It's just investment property. But the two of you genuinely want to build a life in this city. I know the price is high, but think about what you're getting. Within a block, there are 5 artisanal coffee shops, a Spanish immersion kindergarten, and a new Burmese-Peruvian fusion restaurant.
Looking for housing in San Francisco makes my head spin too.
I thought the answer for making housing more affordable was pretty simple. just make it easier for developers to build as much as they want. But even if they build and build, the second prices start to go down, the banks will stop lending. Development will stop, like after the crash in 2008.
Banks won't flood the market with housing if it means prices would fall.
And as long as there's a market for high-priced housing, landlords will keep evicting people. They'll always try to find someone who can pay more.
Okay, fine. It's not working. Something's gotta change. What can we do?
If you're not paying enough rent, they'll kick you out so their shareholders are happy.
What's going on here?
Mayor Chen has announced plans to remove pretty much all regulations on market rate housing development.
I teach the mayor's son at Balboa High. She mentioned this to me when she dropped him off at my class.
When we first heard that, it made total sense to us. But now we know that would make things even worse.
Other countries have kept housing affordable, but only with governments stepping in to cap prices.
Who said that?
Oh, that was my AI watch, Olive. I'm Riley, and this is my husband, Curtis.
I'm Carmen.
Well, you know I hate the idea of government interference. But clearly, there's no incentive for the market to produce housing that people like us can actually afford.
That's what this rally's all about. Right after, we're going to meet with Mayor Chen. Join us. And bring that clever little watch. Mayor Chen, we're here to talk with you about your new housing plan.
Curtis, what a surprise to see you here at City Hall. This is my son's teacher.
Riley and I are having a hard time staying in San Francisco. The cost of housing is just out of control.
That's why I've proposed legislation to build more housing faster.
Making things easier for market rate developers just means more luxury condos.
Now there are all these Wall Street landlords with earnings expectations.
If you're not paying enough in rent, they'll kick you out so their shareholders are happy.
But developers build housing, so why not look to them to solve our housing problem?
Developers will only build a few below market rate units here and there, while they build more and more luxury units.
So most people are priced out.
You're supposed to be representing us, not developers. Why are you pushing for policies that help them instead of making sure there's housing we can all afford?
My research shows that developers and real estate interests have contributed millions of dollars to City Hall campaigns.
I got into politics to help working-class families like my own. This issue is very personal for me. My parents were immigrants and fought hard so we could have a future in San Francisco.
We can all have a future here.
Major cities around the world are implementing rent ceilings to keep prices affordable.
I could see making that one of my legislative priorities. But first, we need to get the state to change its laws.
Other cities have tackled the issues of excessive vacant units, foreign investors buying up housing, and restricting tourist rentals from taking over their housing stock.
The city could buy a lot more sites for new affordable housing and buy existing apartment buildings too.
Sounds like something that could provide stability for our neighborhoods. But where's the money for that coming from?
There's more money in San Francisco than ever before.
Healthcare, tech, tourism, various sectors are thriving here.
We all need to pull together so people of all incomes can thrive in our city. It's just a question of priorities.
To help families, students, and city workers stay in San Francisco, like all of us.
Sounds like we have more to talk about. Let's get started on a new approach.